Our students will now felicitate our dignitaries. Professor Dhrubajyoti Mukhopadhyay, Professor Anish Ray, our chief guest, Ms. Priyadarshini Sengupta, and the President of Geological Institute, Professor Gautam Ghosh. Sir, ma'am, I'd now like to kindly invite you on stage to light the lamp.
Hey, Mombati is here. The past year has been a delightful one. However, we have also lost a lot of members. We mourn the death of members who have left us in the past year or so. In memoriam of their departed souls, we request all of you in the hall to please observe a minute's silence. If possible, please kindly stand up to pay homage to their departed souls. Thank you. Now, in awaiting we will publish Bhu-Vidya, our annual journal of Geological Institute. May I please request Professor Gautam Ghosh and the other dignitaries to please publish Bhu-Vidya.
Please request everybody to switch off their mobiles or mute it.
Also, please switch off your mobile phones or put it on silent mode in order to avoid any commotion. Thank you so much. I also request the editor, Mohani, to be on stage.
Where is she? সে গেল কই?
Thank you. May I please now request the President of Geological Institute, Professor Gautam Ghosh, to deliver his welcome speech.
A very good morning to all of you. Our chief guest today, Dr. Priyadarshini Sengupta, our guest of honor, Professor Dhrubajyoti Mukhopadhyay, Professor Amish Ray, other distinguished alumni, my colleagues, friends and dear students, I welcome you all to this 97th annual general meeting of the students' body of our department, the Geological Institute. As we all know, this Geological Institute was formed by late Professor M. Dhrubajyoti way back in 1905 with the intention that it would serve a platform for the students to look beyond their regular academic curriculum. And I must admit, since its inception about more than 110 years ago, it is running quite strong. And obviously the credit mostly goes to the different batch of students with whose efforts this has been possible, and also to the support of the alumni and all our well-wishers that we can continue with this journey, and I hope with all your support it will definitely continue for the years to come. This year, along with the AGM, we have also planned to host the reunion in a slightly bigger way after a gap of few years, because as far as I recall, in 2012 we organized the reunion in a bigger way, and this year our students were very much inclined to do it along with the AGM, so we agreed. And I must admit that since the start of our thinking process, we received very wholehearted support from all our alumni, and they not only funded the program generously, but also guided our students throughout the whole process. And I am really grateful for this to all of them. So through this Geological Institute, the students, they are organizing regular lectures and seminars throughout the year. And as we have published the Bhu-Vidya, this is also a regular process that they publish their students' journal each year through this reunion. So we are on a really strict schedule today, and I won't take much of your time, but I would hope that all the alumni who are present now and who are yet to come, they will stay throughout the day and will enjoy their stay and interaction with our present batch of students. And the students, they have several programs to show to you, and they have toiled very hard for that. So I would request that all of our alumni, staff and faculty members and students, they stay till the end and they participate in all the programs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. May I please request on stage Professor Dhrubajyoti Mukhopadhyay to please speak a few words about the Institute.
It's a great pleasure for me to be present on this occasion, and I am thankful to the organizers of this program to invite me to this gathering where I meet my old friends, students, and the new friends also. Geological Institute has a long tradition. It was, as Professor Gautam Ghosh has already mentioned, it was started by the Doyen of Indian Geology, Professor Hemchandra Dasgupta, and has an almost uninterrupted history of publication till today. And this has largely lived up to its promise of encouraging the undergraduate and postgraduate students to hone their skill in writing on modern aspects of geology through the pages of this journal. And I find that this tradition is kept alive in the present volume also, and most of the articles in there are written by the young students of the department. So this is a very good venture, and I wish the Institute and the journal long success and a long future glorious history. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. May I also take this opportunity to invite on stage Professor Anish Rai to say a few words.
With the permission of the House, I take the liberty to speak in Bengali. আমার পক্ষে বলাটা খুব দুষ্কর, কারণ আমার সঙ্গে এই ডিপার্টমেন্টের যোগাযোগ প্রায় 70 বছরের উপর। কারণ 4-5 বছর বয়সে আমি প্রথম জিওলজিক্যাল ফিল্ডওয়ার্কে গিয়েছিলাম। জিওলজি না জেনে তার ছবি বাড়িতে অনেকদিন ছিল, এখনো আমার অ্যালবামে আছে। ফলে জিওলজির সঙ্গে যোগাযোগটা সেই প্রায় তখন থেকেই হয়ে আছে। তারপর 1960 সাল থেকে এখানে এসেছি, পড়েছি, তারপর পড়িয়েছি। 2008-9 পর্যন্ত ছিলাম, তারপরে আর এখানে যোগাযোগ নেই। এবং এই ডিপার্টমেন্টে অনেক যার ফলে কিছু বলতে গেলে অনেক কথা ভিড় করে আসে। আমি একটি জিনিস বলবো, যে ডিপার্টমেন্টে খুব ছোট ডিপার্টমেন্ট ছিল, আজকে যত স্টাফ স্টুডেন্ট আছে তার প্রায় অর্ধেক ছিল, কিন্তু এই ডিপার্টমেন্টের একটা বিশেষত্ব ছিল যে এখানে একটা কালচার, একটা এথিক্স, সেটা চর্চা ছিল, এবং সেটা সকলকেই কম বেশি প্রভাবিত করত। এখন নানা কারণে হয়তো তাতে কিছুটা ভাষা পড়ে যায়, কিন্তু এবার আমি দেখলাম যে যে ছেলেরা প্রেজেন্ট কারেন্ট স্টুডেন্টস তারা যখন এটা শুরু করলো, তারা আমার সঙ্গে যোগাযোগ করেছিল, একটা ডেটাবেস তৈরি করবে বলে আমার সাহায্য চেয়েছিল। আমি করেছিলাম, দিয়েছিলাম আমার কাছে যা আছে। তারপরে তারা একটা পাঠায়, একটা ডকুমেন্ট মেলে পাঠায়। আমি সেটা দেখে ক্ষিপ্ত হয়ে গেছিলাম, এবং তারপর ফাউন্ডার্স ডেতে আমি যখন আসি, তখন হাতের কাছে যাদের পেয়েছিলাম কারেন্ট স্টুডেন্ট, তাদের তুলোধনা করি, এডিটেল আর দরকার নেই, তুলোধনা করি। কিন্তু তারপরে আমি দেখি যে তারা কিন্তু সমস্ত মেল আমাকে পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছে। মেলগুলো আমি দেখেছি, সব মেল আমার পড়ার সময় হয়নি, আমি তার উত্তর দিইনি, কিন্তু প্লিজ মি, আমি খুব আশ্চর্য এবং ভালো লেগেছিল আমার যে ওদেরকে সেদিন এরকমভাবে বকাবকি করার পরেও তাদের উৎসাহ, উদ্দীপনা, তাদের কারেজ, এরকম একটা ভেঞ্চার নেওয়ার এতে ভাটা পড়েনি এবং আমাকে সেটা নিঃসংকোচে জানাতেও তাদের কোনো দ্বিধা হয়নি। আমার মতে এইটাই কিন্তু আমাদের যে ধারাটা ছিল, সেই ধারাটার যে রেশ এখনো রয়েছে, এটার একটা বিরাট উদাহরণ, নিদর্শন। আমি সেই জন্যে আমি সেদিনকার যে হয়তো আমি একটা ওভার রিয়াক্ট করেছিলাম, আমি তার জন্যে আমার দুঃখ প্রকাশ করছি এবং বর্তমান ছাত্ররা যে ডিপার্টমেন্টের ধারাটাকে বজায় রাখার জন্য যে এফার্ট নিয়েছে, ইনস্টিটিউটের যে মিটিংটা করলো, রিউনিয়নটা করলো, এর জন্য তাদের অভিনন্দন জানাচ্ছি। এখানে যারা প্রাক্তনী এবং বর্তমান ছাত্রছাত্রী এসছে, সবাইকে আমার তরফ থেকে অভিনন্দন জানিয়ে আমার বক্তব্য শেষ করছি।
Thank you so much, sir. আপনার কথা শুনে খুবই ভালো লাগলো। We would now like to move on to the executive committee. I'd like to invite the secretaries to take over and continue with the executive officer speech and treasurer report successively.
Good morning, everyone assembled here. I, Dhrubajyoti Paul,
And I, Abhi Panda,
Secretaries of Geological Institute of Presidency University, welcome you all to the 97th Annual General Meeting. We are also specially delighted to organize the departmental reunion after a long period of 6 years. We have gathered here today to unite old friends and forge new bonds as geology-loving people from generations come back to their alma mater. This time, we are honored to have among us various alumni of our department, some of whom are professors of eminent geology teaching institutions, senior and junior professionals from some of the renowned oil, energy and mining industries, which include both private and government organizations. Moreover, we are humbled to have with us many of our ex-teachers, retired professors, staff, and retired senior and distinguished industry professionals who have been pioneers in the field of geology teaching and research, mining and energy sectors. In April of 2019, when we were sworn in as secretaries of the Geological Institute, we, along with our professors, had specific goals in mind for the following year, and we are happy to announce that we have tried our best in fulfilling each and every goal we set out to achieve. But it could never have been possible without the help of each and every student, teacher, and beloved alumni who worked tirelessly hand in hand to make every event a success.
As in previous years, even this academic year, the Geological Institute was involved in organizing various lectures and seminars related to earth science. Some of them are Professor Anindu Sarkar from IIT Kharagpur delivered the 44th Professor S. Rai Memorial Lecture on the topic Isotopes, Archaeology, Climate and the Saga of Indus Valley Civilization. We were honored to have Dr. Hikaru Yabuta and Dr. Masaki Miyahari, professors of Department of Earth and Planetary System Science, Hiroshima University, Japan. Professor Yabuta delivered a talk on the topic Japanese Asteroid Sample Return Mission Hayabusa 2, Current Achievements and Future Perspectives, followed by another interesting talk by Professor Miyahara on the topic Shock Metamorphism and Aqueous Alteration Recorded in a Meteorite. We were honored to have Ms. Payal Debrai, Senior Engineering Geologist with COWI and also Company Ambassador of University License. She delivered a talk on the topic Engineering Geologists, Why Does the World Need Them? We were honored to have Dr. Laurie Riceberg, Director of Research and Senior Scientist of CNRS-CRPG, University of Lorraine, Nancy, France, addressing on the topic, the highly sederified elements, how they behave, and the constraints they provide on Earth evolution. With the organization of this reunion, we have created an alumni database and tried our best to keep it as updated as possible. The primary purpose of the database will be to connect with the alumni in order to inform them about various programs organized by the Institute. With the help of this database, the alumni can keep in contact with the students to keep them informed about various things. With the help of our faculty, alumni and our sponsors, the Geological Institute plans to open a fund to sponsor financially underprivileged students for financial need and fieldworks.
We extend our sincere gratitude to the present and ex-students, our respectful and beloved professors for their enduring guidance, and all other well-wishers for their continual support in making this AGM a success. We earnestly wish that in future, the upcoming committees will overcome the drawbacks we left. Our prior sincere felicitation and motivation for their aspirations. Now the office of the new executive committee of the Geological Institute will be nominated. We request them to please come on stage.
Executive Committee members 2020 to 2021. Such secretaries, we have Ankit Bhattacharya and Dhrubajyoti Mukhopadhyay.
I second.
For Assistant Secretary, we have Sneha Bhumi.
I second.
Communication Secretary, we have Anirban Kumar Ray.
I second.
For Treasurers, we have Snehodip Deshwarkar and Shinjan Roy.
I second.
For Bhu-Vidya Editors, we have Devarun Mukherjee and Diganto Sengupta.
I second.
For Publication Secretary, we have Sheikh Bande Ali.
I second.
For Class Representatives of UG1, it is to be decided after the upcoming BSc admissions.
I second.
For UG2 Class Representative, we have Gautam Ghosh.
I second.
For UG3 Class Representative, we have Ankita Singh.
I second.
For PG1 Class Representative, it is to be decided after the upcoming MSc entrance admission.
I second.
For PG2 Class Representatives, we have Ritosha Rao.
I second.
Thank you.
A very good morning to our respected alumni, professors and friends. I, Ankit Biswas,
and I, Anisha Pal,
are present here to present the budget of the current session of the Geological Institute. Before the term ended, the account balance was rupees 73,220. We have spent around rupees 32,270 on organizing various seminars and workshops. The closing balance at the end of the year is rupees 30,950. The alumni and well-wishers have contributed a significant amount of money to Geological Institute to make this 97th AGM and Reunion a great success.
we are very grateful for your contribution throughout this session. The remaining fund will be utilized for the arrangements of the new session by the new committee. We wish them all the best, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I now request the executive committee to go back. Now we have a very interesting lecture coming up. For the same reason, I would like to request the dignitaries to please go back to their seats and allow our chief guest to come over to the stage. Today, we are having a lecture on Geo-morphology and Paleo-climatic reconstruction, an insight into the early human behavior, presented by Ms. Priyadarshini Sengupta. She has done her bachelor's and master's in anthropology with a specialization in archaeology, and and she is presently working on geomorphology, paleo-climatic reconstruction, and archaeology. Ma'am, it is an immense pleasure to invite you to the stage.
Thank you very much. A very good morning to all the eminent faculty, the students, the alumni, the scholars who are present over here. One thing, I don't know her name, but she has said one thing that's a very interesting, this is supposed to be a very interesting lecture. I don't know if it's interesting because the word interesting itself is very interesting, and I found people, especially Western people, use the word interesting when they are not really convinced about something. So anyway, I was contacted by Professor Orijit Rai, and whom I know from my childhood, my birth, and somehow I prepared a lecture, but I don't know how many of you will be interested or how many of you will find it interesting, but I'll try to deliver it as fast as possible, because I see the ambience here is not really for getting into detailed nitty-gritties of it.
Abhi.
As you know that I'm not a person from either geology or geography, but I use the word geomorphology. Before going into that, I'd like to just say a few of the things. Anthropology is a subject which basically deals with the study of humans, whether at present or early humans. It deals with human evolution, fossil remains, genetics, and we need the geomorphological aspects. Whether we are doing any fossil evidence studies, we need to know the layers for dating, for successive stratification or hiatus, anything that is in between. And we do cultural studies also, and of the past people. And this is a division has been created that paleoanthropologists are dealing with the biological aspects of evolution, and the archaeologists are dealing with the cultural materials that have been left behind by the early people. So the early people we study about are mostly the prehistoric people, that is the time period where there are no written records. So it is very difficult to reconstruct their behavior or different aspects of their life from just the amount of evidences, cultural materials that have been left behind, and mostly the earliest remnants are the stone tool environment, and both man and environment, they decide how they are going to adapt and survive in the cultural change, how they are going to change their culture, how culture changes, and how they are going to survive within a given environment. So So when we are studying the geomorphological aspects, I must say that we study very basic geomorphology. We do not know much of the geomorphological details very much, but mostly why we study geomorphology is because we need to construct the reconstruct the paleoclimate. If we don't have an idea of the paleo environment, we cannot really understand the behavioral pattern of the early humans. Now, when we are doing studying geomorphology, we are interested mainly in the quaternary geomorphology because prior to quaternary period, all over the world, we do not find any human cultural remains. So since we are interested in human cultural remains, we study only quaternary geomorphology. Geomorphology should be understood in a global scale, in a local scale, and then a regional mapping of which kind of geomorphological paleo-environmental settings were conducive for human survival. This kind of a mapping can be made. Now, I was thinking that I'll present to you through three case studies. One is this Gopibalpur study, which is a very small. It's a very in a very initial stage, and we conducted it from our department during January and December 2019 and January 2020. The whole area basically is here you are geologists, so whatever wrong I might say, I don't know, you will be understanding that. You can correct me, please. So the area we surveyed was basically the older alluvium of the Subarnarekha Valley, and we could understand how the valley how the course of the river has been changing, shifting. And the land was mainly lateritic, in the sense reddish with nodules, and iron pieces, and there were also in some parts there were also the yellowish formation, which is as far as we could see that was probably a part of the Shijia formation. But as far as the red soil and the total area, it was very much both eroded, deposited, as well as very much eroded. So it gave a kind of badland. It isn't exactly badland, but a kind of the topography was kind of badland, dry with dry bushes. That is what we found. Now we worked at a place called Ghoda Pincha, and there we found columns of in situ laterite that was both formed as in situ, then again eroded from both eroded again. In the general geomorphological structure, there was a small channel, kind of a enclosed channel, kind of a depression, and I don't have very good photographs, but I think in this one you can see this is the depressed part, the depression part, which had clay deposits and which indicated that this part was probably underwater for a long time. It was kind of a lake or something, because both ends were were again closed. And on both sides we had laterites, some yellowish as you can see, some a bit brownish. These laterites, the upper layer, that was very much alluviation taking place, very much loose. Then slowly as we went lower, it became compact, and in between there is another. Okay, we can't see it, but in between there is a band kind of continuity, and we tested it with magnet. There is a kind of iron band, kind of a layer over here, where the magnet had a great, was greatly pulled by this area. So this is what we got, and below again there was some gravels. This whole thing was mixed with gravels and kieselmatic nodules and some calcrete, and then finally when we went deeper, it was kaolin soil. That was whitish in color and wet also, and totally plain, in no sandy kind of appearance in that way. So from this, what we, and there was another thing, this hasn't come out very well in this picture. Around this place there was a layer of sorted gravels. It ran horizontally all through. So that was probably a riverine action, some channel action. So what we concluded was that basically at the base there was a lake in the beginning, which may be tertiary or too late tertiary. We didn't do any dating, but that was only from observations of different areas of the eastern Chotanagpur plateau, the different types of laterite that we find over there. After that, there was this lateritization process, which is possibly during Upper Lalgarh or later. And after this laterite was formed, there was a channel, there was a riverine water action which left behind the gravels over there. So if we see from a geomorphological point of view, the earliest, as I've told you, and during on the O layer, organic layer, we found some calcrete and some calcium carbonate depositions. So there was probably a slightly drier phase after the lateritization was completed. Now, in a general rule, we know that lateritization is a formation of a wet period when there is moist, humid climate. So this area then had, when we scraped the bed and we saw the channel base, we found that the depression on the what we call the lake bed, there were certain crude quartz artifacts. Lots of quartz nodules and quartz were found over there. We found very crude artifacts, the early kind of artifacts, tools that were made by early humans. Then in the section we found a slightly developed, slightly smaller in size, some quartz, scrapers and flakes. And on top of that we found certain quartz blades and flakes. Actually, when this archaeology in the general scheme, early humans in the Middle Pleistocene times, from Middle Pleistocene times, we get the earliest evidences in India. Till now, it was from Middle Pleistocene times, but now I'll show the next case study where the dates have been changed. The earliest artifacts are crude, large, and not so well made, but they have a sharp or pointed end through which they could do some cutting, scraping activities. Then as they go to the next phase or middle Paleolithic, as we say, the size becomes smaller, but the effective working area becomes much more sharper, more pointed and better made. So technology in this way is developing, and when we go to the Upper Paleolithic phase, we find there are plates and flakes. These need a more developed technology. Now this is the case study 2. This is the Kottalar Valley in River Valley in Chennai area, and this is a very path-breaking work that Shanti Babu has done. She has been working there for over 25 years, and this is formed of the Gondwana formation. There is alluvial sheet and stream, and this hill area, it is a hilly area which has lots of seasonal streams and paleo channels also. Here, this is the map of the area in general, and this is the composite stratigraphy that you can see. There is the bedrock, and above that there is the time periods are given, and there is pericrete, there are the implementiferous layers, and there are evidences of wet and certain dry periods within the section. And these are some of the tools that I was talking about that have been discovered by Shanti. The main thing that has been done by Shanti is that when we said earlier that it was 75 to 80 or 90 years ago that we find the earliest cultural evidences in Indian context, Shanti, with her team of geologists, geographers, archaeologists, of course, zoologists, archaeozoologists, palaeontologists, paleontologists, with a total team, she has dated this site with a calibrated date. The dating is a calibrated dating, and she has found tools which are around 1.5 million years old. So now what we used to think is that India was occupied by early humans from around 80 to 85,000 years ago. Now that has been stretched back to 1.5 million years ago. So from here, this is a path-breaking work that Shanti has done. And these are some of the tools that she has, number of tools. And she has also, now that we already know that early humans made tools, they developed, the technology developed in this way or that way, they used suitable raw materials, and they stayed in places where they could control the water sources and other resources for food, shelter, and means of offense and defense, because they stayed in jungle areas with the other animals. They have, we are focusing more and more on the behavioral aspects of the early people. So from this Kotalai Valley, it is at the cognitive aspect. We tend to think that we have a greater brain volume with more convolutions and neurological complexities. But it's not only that. Even the early humans, whom we say Homo erectus or the Neanderthal group of people, they also had a very strong cognitive aspect, because they were aware exactly what to manufacture, what they required, how to get that, what their needs were, and how to satisfy them. And gradually they also developed their technology, and this did not happen in a few years. This happened in thousands and thousands of years, and all these aspects, that the choice of raw materials, the how to control how to exist during the sheet floods and other climatic disasters. So they knew how to survive, basically. So that needs a lot of cognitive, that needs a lot of thinking, perceptive aspects. And we have always seen that early humans did not settle along large river valleys, because they did not have the technology to control the large river valleys like Ganga or Godavari, Krishna or Narmada, or these. But we have in Narmada Valley, in all these valleys, we have the settlements, but along the smaller seasonal channels, channels that dried up during winter, and the smaller ones, the water whose volume and velocity, the energy level they could control. So here also we find the same thing. Sorry. And the way this has gone deep into archaeology, but the thing is that they knew how to reuse the tools. If a tool has become a sharp end, had become blunt, they resharpened it. They did not throw it away. They resharpened it, or they broke that tool into smaller pieces and used them again. So the concept of reusing, etc., those were there, and they had strategic seasonal movement. In fact, in Shushunia, there was a site we worked on, Bagbiha. We found that there were two mounds. One was near a stream that went into the Gondeshwari river, and there was another mound which was a bit away from that. And then we found tools on both the mounds, and then we understood that when the stream's water used to come up to the nearer mound. So during the rainy season or the monsoon, when there were periods of heavy rainfall, when water came up to the nearer mound, they shifted to the other mount, which was a bit away from this flood process. And I will skip through these. I think, no, I have time. where the tools were earlier seen in a different way, but and in India the Middle Paleolithic, because we have always been comparing everything with the British findings. That's why in India, because we had to try to fit this had a colonial beginning, and we tried to fit it into the British model of Lower Paleolithic, Middle Paleolithic, Upper Paleolithic. So Indian tools were not recognized as the same or very similar to the British ones. So they were not classified as lower, middle, upper phases, and the view of the Westerns, the Britishers mainly, was that the technology, or in India, technology of preparation was not as well developed as that in Britain. West was always more developed. That was the basic concept. But now that we study Indian artifacts from an Indian point of view, we know the necessity. During Quaternary, we had periods of heavy rainfall, pluviation and interpluviation, while Europe, Britain, they had periods of glaciation, interglaciation, the Quaternary period. So there the temperature changes, the resources, the necessity of the people, and the raw material they had, those were very different and kept on changing in the changing environment. And mainly in the European context, we have flint as the main raw material from which flakes were struck off. So this smooth raw material, cryptocrystalline or colloidal silica that we generalize, that we say in a generalized way, that is more like if you cut off a slice from a piece of butter. So you will be getting all the ripple marks, the point of impact, the conchoidal fracture marks will be represented very well. But in India we have a different kind of climate. We do not have that much of change in temperature. So flora, fauna was different. Humans' necessities were different. So, and the raw materials were different. So Indians made tools, early humans in India made tools from the resources that were available to them and according to the needs perceived by them. And according to the environment with which they had to adapt. In India, we find the basic raw materials are different kinds of quartzite and quartz. So naturally, if you strike off portions, small flakes from these tools which have hard crystalline structure, so naturally, if you strike them off, the fracture planes, the fracture type is definitely not going to be like those that in stones like flint. So from these aspects, we see that the tools that Europeans classify as the more developed is actually not more developed technology. In India, indigenous technology that was also developing in its own way. We have to understand everything within the total background of environment, adaptations, culture, everything. And okay, the techniques, I won't go into that. This is another explain the behavioral pattern and the background, regional structure, regional aspects of the development of technology and adaptation to environments. Petroglia, Porisatar, Haslam, they have done these works mainly at Jwalapuram. And this is a report mainly from the site of Jwalapuram. That is also in South, Karnataka, Madras, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu border area. And they have also tried to reconstruct the cognitive and behavioral patterns of the people through the changing types of tools and the technological aspects of the tools. For understanding all these changes and etc., we now have experimental archaeology, where tools are made in the laboratory or a proper setup by present-day archaeologists, and reconstruction of paleo-environment, which are region-specific, local, and so in this way we are trying to understand total culture as a whole, not only tools and description of tools. Earlier it was just the tools, description of the tools, and then classification of the tools, and certain aspects of technology. So from that, now it has become a more holistic pattern of understanding the total lifestyle, as much as possible, the total lifestyle of the early humans. This should be actually case study 3. Now this is, since we are doing diachronic works, so we did one from the Gopipallapur was from middle to late Pleistocene. Earlier lake was probably late Sherry to Pleistocene, and then middle Pleistocene and later. Then the Kotalar Valley work, that was 1.5 million years ago, earliest finds. So the final, what I wanted to discuss was something that was contemporary with the Indus civilization or Harappan civilization, but it was not a state or urban civilization. It was a village farming community. The site the name of the site is Balathal. It is located in the Mewar region of Rajasthan, and it dates from around 3000 to 1500 BC, and the community, the settlement was basically a village farming settlement. That is, they were partially agricultural and pastoralists. So this is an agro-pastoral community that we are talking of. So one was there were two periods in this mound. One was the lower one was the Chalcolithic, which is the period 1, and it was overlain by the early historic phase, that is the period 2. The Chalcolithic period we call that period where we find both copper as well as stone artifacts. That on analysis of the soil, the isotope and other analysis that have been done, it has been derived that that depression was actually a lake at that period when the village farming settlement culture was going on. So that is shows, and this falls again within the Banas river complex. A lot of sites are found within the Banas river in Mewari region. So the conclusion is that around 5,000 to 3,000 years ago, Rajasthan had a more wet climate than it has now at present. Okay, these are the things we find from the settlement. There are circular mud huts and we have storage pits where grains have been found, remains of grains, and these storage pits were lined with or coated with lime. So that is that they had this kind of development idea that so the grains are not affected by pests or anything. Lime is a protector which protects the grains. But one different kind of feature that we find is that Balathan had a fortification wall which is not seen in many of the other Chalcolithic sites. This is more seen within the Harappan areas. The typical now, they have very specialized pottery, and these pottery cannot be manufactured even by experimental archaeologists who are dealing with pottery manufacturing. Even till now, they haven't been able to manufacture these kinds of pottery because what they understand is the control over firing, the oxidation and reduction firing. That the way that was done, that has not been able to be repeated by archaeologists till today. The main pottery types were the black and red ware, reserved slipware. These were the best pottery with thin sections, with controlled oxidation and reduction firing. That's why one part was black and one part was red. So this is the black and red ware, which is the very famous pottery of these sites. And the pottery pieces, the pots materials were so well fired and even sectioned that if you strike something with it, the sound is exactly like a metal, totally metallic sound. No hollow sound comes out. And of course, there were coarse redware, greyware, which were used probably for daily use, cooking, etc. And plus, we find certain Harappan pottery types like Tisham stand, then perforated ware, and terracotta objects like stylized bulls. These are the Harappan characteristic wares. So this shows that the Balathan people had contact with the Harappan people. And the copper, they were hunting weapons, so they had basically agro-pastoral lifestyle with a little bit of hunting. And saddle querns, mullers, pestles, hammerstones, all of them speak about a settled agricultural economy. And there were charred bones of sheep, goat, cattle, meal-type, fowl, fish, molluscan shells were also found. And there were charred grains of wheat, barley, millets, grams, all these. So, and a lot of charcoal was discovered from this site. So this site has been dated properly. It was possible this site through C14 as well as other archaeological ways. It was possible to date this site from 3000 BC to 1500 BC roughly. So one thing is there that we need to study geomorphology, whether it is from early quaternary times or in Holocene recent times, because without understanding the geomorphology and reconstructing the paleoclimate or the contemporary climate of that time, we cannot say anything about, we cannot understand in a holistic pattern the total lifestyle of the people. So from the Balakal excavations, the minimum points that have come out are that this was a village farming community having contact with Harappan people. Mainly there was agro-pastoral economy and some hunting activities. They interacted with the environment through the use of they interacted with the environment and used the potential resources in ways that they could manage. So all through we find technology is an important factor in adapting with the contemporary environment. And for them, the lake was the main source of water, not the Banas valley, Banas river or its small channels, etc. So geomorphologically, it may be concluded that the present desert area, it had a much wetter climate at that period, and over the past 2000 or 2,500 years, the area became very arid, dry, and has become the desert environment. So that is, humans have a strategic and intimate relationship with the environment, and we go to the environment through very basic geomorphological studies. They only chose the areas that were conducive for their survival, and geomorphological studies are necessary to understand which kinds of environments were suitable for early humans, why an area was occupied for a long time, why a site was occupied intermittently, why there was a seasonal migration kind of pattern, or why a site was left almost in a hurry. We try to understand these from the tool and waste materials that are left behind. And so the environment is there, consequently, and because it is so much in the distant past, and we have so little remnants of the early humans who are 1 million or 1.5 million years ago. So this these works are unending, and of course we cannot form any generalized or universally patterned laws of their behavior, because these are always debatable. Because some scholar can speak from one aspect which is logical, another scholar will also speak from another aspect which is also logical, because all these are probable and possible. Probability, possibility, both of these things are working. So these are more interpretative than forming scientific covering laws and universal generalizations. That's all. Thank you. I don't know, many of the things were probably not explained, and anyway, thank you for listening patiently to what I had to say. The only thing is, we deal more with cultures, and geomorphology is a tool for reconstructing our past environments. That's all. Thank you.